Grab a cupcake.
Yeah.
You can have a cupcake. I put a pillow on your seat so maybe you're a little higher up. Dum da da dum dum dum. Medicaments below. Below.
Have you gotten any commentos?
No, I think we are good. I think we're cutting it off right there. We're cutting it off at 60.
Sorry for all you people who entered after 7:56.
Right. After 7:56. There we are. I think we're up. We're up and live. Up and live. Looks like everything is running smooth. Smoothly. We have 3 minutes. 3 minutes and counting. 3 minutes and counting.
Alright, then I'm gonna fold the last few of these up and...
Yep, we're done. Who's the last one?
On YouTube, it was Marcus West.
Marcus West, you were the last.
Facebook, it was Billy Meek on one post and Marty Chadwell Pataki on the other post.
Oh, Pataki. All right, we are accepting no more for the drawing. We are accepting no more. Thank you, everyone. But no more drawings. What do you mean? My feet do not stink. I don't know what you're talking about.
61 entries.
61.
That means people have a 10% chance of winning.
10% chance, that's pretty good. 3 minutes and counting. 3 minutes and counting. 2 minutes and counting. Actually, you're probably a little bit behind. It's a little delay. The stream still looks good.
I was yawning and I didn't want people to...
Oh, I see. Alright.
My finger smells too.
Like my foot. It does because I've been picking at my feet. That's gross. Oh, why is the stream doing that?
It's okay because it's just yellow.
But what's the next color? What's the bad
Red.
color?
Red.
But didn't it go from yellow to like...
Red.
It went to red before they would cut out? Because it was cutting out last time.
I think it cut out on red.
Okay.
Like I said, we can put my computer up beside and just see if and when it cuts out.
It's just going to use up more internet stuff.
And then disconnect your phone.
I'll disconnect your phone. Okay, 1 minute and counting. But quit it with the faces.
That was a good one.
That was not a good face. Alright, I think we're going.
It says that there are no people watching.
It says there's no people watching, but I don't believe it.
I don't know.
Maybe people haven't started watching yet. Yeah, it ended with woohoo. We'll be back at 8. It's 7:59.
You really need to move your foot.
Oh my lord.
Oh my lord.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. We can remove this. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think there's anybody here yet, so I'm not talking to anyone.
Oh, they're here.
No, here. Perfect.
Woo!
Okay. And the live questions and answers begins now. Thank you for joining us. So, real quick, we're going to go over, and if you guys have any questions, you can just start throwing them down, and we'll get to them and answer them. But we have the Viking hat full of names. I was surprised by how many of you guys took part in this. I think, how many do we have? 61?
61 entries.
61 entries for the cooking pouches. So you have like a 10% chance of winning one of the pouches, which is really cool. So we'll be drawing these as we go. Drawing. We'll be doing the drawing as we go. The live stream is set up a little bit different because we've started to move things home. So we're running out of furniture. So, yeah, we're a little bit lower now. But yeah, if you guys want to start throwing out the questions, and we'll get started with the drawings. Maybe we should do a drawing first. Do you think?
Sure. Pick one.
Okay. Now, how about you pick one?
Okay.
All right. Shuffle through. Shuffle through. Shuffle through. This is exciting. Drum roll. Everybody do drum roll.
The very first winner
Is
Norman Lacey.
Norman Lacey. You are the winner of one of the pouches. That's not.
That's
here, no,
not going to show up.
Maybe if you go like.
It's the light on it.
All right, this is not going to show up, but it's Norman Lacey.
Norman Lacey
is the first winter.
And we should tell the people how we're planning to contact them. So if you won, we will respond directly to your comment either on YouTube or Facebook, and let you know that you can send your address to our email, or if we can personally message you on Facebook, we'll do that. But we'll give you our email address to send
your
mailing address to, so we can send you your
cooking
pouch. Woo, Norman Lacey. Okay, so we did get a question and all of that.
You're just like, sorry. Continue.
Will the food cooking pouch work just as well if you don't cover the entire thing with duct tape? Just thinking about weight.
Absolutely. Just thinking about weight. Absolutely. The duct tape, I think, for the most part,
weighs a lot.
Decoration and just for a little bit of extra protection. Because it may...
Yeah.
Duct tape makes it a little more rugged against getting scraped and cut and stuff like that.
I was actually thinking about that the other day, and I don't know how easily this material would, scratch or rip.
Or puncture.
Yeah. And the duct tape just does give it that extra layer, but I don't know. I don't think it adds much R value as far as thermal insulation goes.
No, I don't think so. And in the video, I stopped like halfway. As long as you've got enough on there to hold it and hold it in the shape. And with these, like I said before, the Velcro closure isn't it even really needed. You could just do this much of it and it would kind of close. So I think that would be fine. The duct tape is really just decoration.
One thing that is quite needed is the picture. Not really.
What is very needed? Okay.
On your AT hike, how many different hiking permits did you have to get? The Smoky Mountains.
When?
I guess technically we had to sign in the Shenandoahs. It wasn't a permit. It was just a sign in. We're coming through. And then
they like to keep track of like how many days you're in and
what
stuff
huts
like
you think you're gonna stay at. And then I guess in Katahdin we had to sign in there too. But again, it wasn't a permit. It was just we had to pay to stay, didn't we?
In
Did we have to
Katahdin?
pay?
No.
Yeah, at Able Springs Campground. The night before.
Not thru-hikers don't have to pay.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we did.
We didn't have to pay. Yeah, the only permit that you're going to have to actually purchase is the Smoky Mountains. And you can do it we actually stopped at Fontana Dam before we got into the Smokies, and they have a computer right there that you can
in the hotel.
Right in the hotel there that you can get your permit. You can do it before you set out on the trail.
Some people do it before, but that's a little bit difficult because you don't know. It's only, I think you can only make it valid for 10 days. So you have to get through the Smokies in that 10 days, and if you're entering in on the 8th day, sorry, you're not going to make it.
Did you have to print something out, right?
Yeah, you have to print something out and
that's
carry
the
it
only,
with you.
Yeah, that's the only downside is you have to be able to print it out.
Are ticks a problem with the BNC?
Ticks are a problem depending on what time during the year. I mean, with the seasons, I think ticks are always going to be a problem with hair and anything. I think for us, we were just keeping covered. I mean, I think the beard is going to be just as much of a tick magnet as the tick magnet as hair. So I don't see the beard being any more of an issue. We weren't really too worried about ticks along the way.
We didn't get very ticky. Nathan got a few ticks. We never found a tick on me, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe we just didn't find it.
This is true. But yeah, we did find a couple. I think the number one thing is just to look. Constantly look for them. Like you get into camp, before you get into your sleeping bag, just get a good overall look and feeling for them too. Especially if they've attached to you, they're a little bump. If you're taking like feeling down your legs at night or down your arms and stuff, you'll be able to feel them. It'll feel like you've got something a little stuck on you, just this little bump, and you'll be able to tell that way. But checking is the main thing. With ticks, they have to be on you and bit into you for 24 hours before they can transfer Lyme disease. So if you're checking yourself once to twice a day, you're always going to catch them before you have the potential for getting Lyme disease. So that's like the best way to fight against them. And even rubbing your hands through your hair and stuff, you're going to be able to feel them as opposed to trying to look inside and actually see them.
We did treat some of our clothes with permethrin, mainly
This is true.
Our socks, our gaiters, our pants.
Mm-hmm.
We made sure to treat those things first. I don't think we ever treated our buffs because those go around our face and eyes.
Mm-hmm.
We might have treated our shirts.
We may have one time. And that's something to look into too, because that's a one-time treatment and it'll last for a very long time. And it's another thing that leads me back to the beard too. Ticks are normally going to be found around your legs while you're walking,
unless you're cowboy camping or something.
True, and we did have one in our tent one time.
Yeah, because when we found one in your beard, and we didn't treat our clothes we didn't treat our clothes until the halfway point, which you could treat them before you're hiking. It would probably last the whole time. Because you really don't wash your clothes that many times on the trail.
This is true.
This is true. But we just didn't, because that's what we did. We didn't treat until Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. And it also depends on what time you're going through. I don't know exactly the peak of tick season, but you'll want to just try to think about where you're going to be and at what time. I mean, we started in February.
Yeah.
We didn't have ticks until Pennsylvania.
We didn't treat until May 1st when we got to PM. And they're more of a problem in the north than the south, actually.
Yeah.
So if you're going Nobo.
Midway, yeah.
Okay. Mr.
Next.
Willie Hendricks. What's the famous Hendricks, guys? Oh,
Jimmy.
I was thinking it was Billy. Okay. Mr. Will Hendricks says,
I love my wife.
You're
so smart.
What did you do about health insurance on the trail? I've heard travel insurance is the way to go. Mr. Pituitary Gland here, I don't know why I called him that, didn't have health insurance.
I don't need it.
Because he didn't have a job.
I had a job. I quit it to go on the trail.
During the trail, yeah. We considered buying him travel insurance, but at the last minute we decided not to.
Because you don't care.
I think it was because he didn't care.
This is true. I think it is. When we were looking into it, what was travel insurance? It was like $500 or something.
Yeah.
And that can cover you. You'll have to look into it a little bit more, but I have heard as well that travel insurance is the way to go. I don't think it was smart to go without insurance. It just happened to be the way it worked out that I ended up going. But I'm very nimble. On the AT, I think I fell less than 6 times the entire way. I think it was more like 3, maybe even only 2.
I can think of 3 off the top of my head. As for me, I was still covered under my mother's health insurance, so that helped due to age purposes. But yeah, travel.
3 off the top of her head. Sorry. Continue.
Traveler's insurance, and I think the company we were looking into was Nomad or something with the word Nomad in it. And it was actually, it seemed like pretty good coverage, but again, didn't get it.
Okay.
Let's do another drawing.
Another drawing already? You're so excited. All right, I'm going to do one more question. We got Town Company 29. Our
Tom
dogs.
and Company.
Oh, okay.
Our dogs allowed the entire length. They're not allowed in the Smokies.
There's going to be
and I don't know if they're allowed in Katahdin. In Katahdin Springs.
I think they're allowed in Baxter State.
Baxter State Park. I couldn't think of it.
Okay. I'm pretty sure they're allowed in Baxter. I don't know. You'll have to look into it. There are Smoky Mountains is one for sure. I know that the dogs are not allowed, and it's also because they allow horses, and there's that section of the trail you'll see horses more often. And
we didn't see any.
Yes, we did.
We did interrupting horse. We did see some horses. We were
the very last day in the Smokies. We saw some people on horses, but I think that's why they don't allow dogs is because of if there's going to be horses traveling through there and dogs. So that's one spot. I've heard people that have either skipped that section or had someone watch their dog and then do it.
There's borders. people who board the dogs.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that. I've also heard of people before they start their hike going through and doing the Smoky Mountains and then starting with their dog and then getting shuttled around the Smokies. So they have done it, but because you weren't able to do it with your dog. Okay, we'll do a drawing now. Next one. All right, who was the first winner? Norman Lacey.
Oh, no.
What happened?
Uh-oh, starting to look like a Godzilla movie. Voice is lagging. LOL.
Oh, no. Wait, no, Godzilla movie is. I don't think you can hear me.
Oh, yeah, because they're Chinese.
It doesn't match.
Anyway.
She's so smart. All right, don't I get to draw this one? I don't want to.
Here. You do it.
Shake.
That person said it looks good for them.
All right, good.
You have to draw, because I drew the last one.
All right, well, hold the hat.
Shuffle it up, shuffle it up.
I'm just wrinkling them all. I'm getting one at the very bottom. All right, here we go. And the next winner is...
Tom and Company 29!
There you are. You just commented.
Tom and Company 29. They can't see that. You've won yourself a cooking pouch.
Looks fine. Well, it looks fine. You just got yourself a cooking pouch. That is so funny. I was hoping that someone that was watching would win one.
And as we said before,
so cool.
We will ask you to send us your address.
Well, actually, we'll give out the. We'll try to find a way to do a private Coolio. We'll try to find a way to do a private message to you where we can send you an email to email your address. That way, we're not just like broadcasting everything over to the entire
people on YouTube. Can you send
interwebs.
private messages via YouTube?
I think we probably can.
All right.
We'll figure that out.
And if we can't, we'll reply to your individual comment, leaving our email address for you to send your mailing address.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
No dogs in Baxter. Go up one a little bit.
No, here.
I know, but I think there might have been a comment about...
No, above the no.
Oh, okay, Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Did you have any idea Nate was going to propose when and where he did? No.
It was actually really, it was perfect timing. I think that, well, you didn't have, okay, here's the really fun story, and you can't get it from the videos. What's the name of the song?
What you gonna do? Humps. It's called
Humps. Yeah, you got it. And it starts out.
What you gonna do with all that junk? All that junk inside the trunk.
Yeah,
I think.
whatever. Okay.
That's the only line I know.
So, for some reason on the trail that was stuck in our head, and if you guys start through hike, you're going to realize that stuff will get stuck in your head. You're going to be hiking for hours and hours and hours. And we got this joke going where one of us would say, what you going to do? And then the other no, how did the joke go? I got a question for you.
I got a question
That's what
for
we do.
you.
So one of us would say, like Sharon would say, I got a question for you.
I got a question for you.
And I would say, what?
What you gonna do with all that junk?
And that's how it started. And it was a joke. And for this long time, we had this joke where if Sharon would say, I got a question for you, I would say, what? She would start singing.
And then eventually he'd just be like, I'd say, I got a question for you. And he'd be like, I'm going to sell it at a garage sale.
Yeah.
He didn't want me to start singing the song.
Well, and then I got this idea that because I didn't know how I was going to propose. So I got the idea after a while. After that became this thing that we were doing, I started asking her, I got a question for you. And then she would automatically think of the song and say, I'm going to store it in the attic or whatever, and answer the question of the song. But I did that for a while. So when we got on McAfee Knob and the sun was starting to come up, I asked Sharon, I said, I have a question for you. And she automatically started thinking of ways to answer me creatively because that was the new joke. And when she turned, that's when I asked.
He wasn't there, actually. When I turned, I was like, oh.
Oh. So it was, I think it was a very good surprise. I don't think you ever saw it coming.
He had been acting kind of strange a few days prior, but I thought he was just a weirdo.
Yeah. So I think it was a surprise. All right, did we...
Your friend, Mr. Miyagi, he really likes your name. Is that how you say it, Mr. Miyagi?
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi. It's from Karate Kid.
Doing the entire Shenandoah National Park section in the last week of May into April, what was your impression of this area? Any advice? So we did that the first week of April. Actually, not the first week. We were at Rockfish Gap on the 9th. So we did it like, I don't know, the end of the first week, beginning of the second week of April.
Okay. My impression, and this is just my own opinion, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone else, but I had very high expectations for Shenandoah. You know, oh, you'll see lots of wildlife, and it's very, you know, very pretty and stuff. And that's kind of what I went into there. I was figuring out it's going to be kind of wowed. And when you get there, we didn't see really any wildlife. There was too many people. And let me get to it. You follow and cross the Skyline Drive multiple times in a day. A lot of times.
Not even just multiple times, like 6 times.
Yeah, sometimes as many as 6 times in one day. You're either crossing or going around that Highline Drive. Skyline. You constantly can hear vehicles. It just wasn't as much nature as I was expecting, you know. And like you'd walk out to an overlooking, like this is really pretty, and you'd look down and a car would drive underneath you. It was just a little bit of a surprise for me, and I was a little bit disappointed, I think.
But I think at that point we were 900 miles into the thru hike. Mm-hmm. Not that we didn't like people, but I mean, you go so long. You know, at the beginning of our hike, it took us a week before we saw another person. So you get used to not seeing those people. So doing it for a week long might actually be refreshing to see other people.
This is true, yeah.
Because if you're used to seeing people in your everyday life. And
terrain-wise, it is mm-hmm. beautiful. I mean, it's a great hike, and I was just looking for a little bit more woods and a little bit more of that. But as far as like the hike and the terrain and the views are gorgeous.
The views are nice.
But when we went through there, also we hadn't been hit with the leaf coverage yet, so we got to see a lot of views that some people don't see, especially thru hikers. By the time they get there, they've got the green tunnel to look forward to, and we were actually there early enough that we didn't have that. We
did see one deer though.
We did, and it was right after I said, like, I haven't seen any animals. Where are the animals?
He said, I haven't even seen a deer. And
like, deer 15 feet away from me, a deer popped out of the brush and started running. It was very comical. Okay, so next up.
Any memories of crossing Warwick or Greenwood Lake area of the lowlands? Impression of shelters in this area?
Warwick sounds familiar, but really not.
Where is that?
Where's your book? I'll get it.
Oh, is that in New York? I think that's in New York. I think Warwick.
Well, the New York section was kind of a it was kind of a bummer sometimes.
New York was my least favorite. Oh, look, New York. New York was my least favorite state.
Pulley just arrived. Hello.
I like to say a pulley.
Pulley.
Here, I'm going to look this up and figure out where it was, and I'm sure we have memories from it. We're going to move on. Are you guys doing some trail magic this summer?
Okay, I actually got a chance to do a little trail magic already.
Well, it wasn't just you. Oh, here's Warwick.
What? Okay, so what I did was, as some of you guys know about my trip to do the 4-state challenge, which I'm going to give away no spoilers. The videos are not quite out yet, so you'll have to see that. But I did do the miles south before I turned around to do them north. And when I first got on the trail, I wanted to do some trail magic. And at the first shelter that I stayed at, I left a bunch of, it's kind of mean, but a bunch of peeps, but they were kind of old peeps. Weren't they from last year?
Yeah, but they're so good.
Marshmallow peeps don't go bad.
The other day.
We did just eat some the other day. So I left a bag of peeps for our peeps on the trail. So I did a little bit of trail magic. But as far as me, I don't think we're planning any specific trail magic. I've got a friend that did the thru hike that I met here in Philadelphia. His trail name was Rabbit. And he's going to do some trail magic. And I thought about maybe going with him when he does it. I thought that would be really fun. Also, I'm going to be on the Conarock, how do you spell it? Conarock. It may just be Conarock. The Conarock Trail Crew for a week in April, I think, the mid-April to end of April. I'm going to be on the trail crew for a week, doing some trail work, giving back a little bit, and so I may try to do some trail magic there too. So that ought to be a lot of fun. And if for any of you guys out there that are maybe not doing your thru hike this year, maybe just doing a section, or want to get on the trail, the trail crews are a great way to do that. I didn't realize all the information about them, but like the Conarock Trail Crew, It's a week long that you get. You can sign up for a week long, and all you have to do is drive there. They take care of where you're staying, transportation to and from the trail. All of your food and like food and lodging, like I said, is all paid for. So you get this week paid for trip where you get to spend the whole time in the woods around really awesome people. And maybe you have to shovel a little bit and move some rocks, but it also would be really cool to see how they maintain the trails and take care of blowdowns, but also building steps and stuff. So I suggest that for anybody that's looking, like, hey, I wonder what section I'm going to do this year if you're out there for a hike. Look into the trail crews. I know that I've been in touch with those guys. I plan on doing some videos and kind of advertising a little bit because they have a hard time filling up the crews every year. The Appalachian Trail is really long, and it takes a lot of work to keep it in the shape that they have it. And I think a lot of people, especially thru hikers, they say once you're on the trail, you realize how long it is and how much work it is. And a lot of thru hikers, when they're done, say, I'm going to get back out there and I'm going to give back and I'm going to do some trail work. And a lot of times the plans fall through. So, take a time to look into that, and maybe that's what you do for your week long this year. You get to meet some great people and help on the trail.
Okay, so back to Warwick and Greenwood Lakes.
Okay.
Do you really want to know where this is in New York?
Yes, I do. It's a question.
It's like the day that we went to the creamery and got like $3 one scoop ice cream cone.
Okay.
Walked up Stairway to Heaven.
Okay.
Went down. There was trail magic there. We got water.
Is the whoops. Oh my gosh. Earthquake.
And then there was all those brown water sources. We camped next to one and we had to boil and filter. The next day
Up Stairway, was that where we met that group of Asian people?
Yes.
There was a group, it was like a 20-person group of, they must have been mostly just speaking Cantonese or Mandarin. It's like they were on some kind of a trip straight from Asia. It was really funny. We had a whole group picture with us because we were some of the earlier thru hikers, so they hadn't really seen any. And we've got, they're all giving the peace signs, and it's a group of like 20 people. It was so much fun. Only like one of them spoke English. It was a lot of fun. And those were the most expensive ice cream cones I've ever had.
For the amount of ice cream we got.
Right.
But I would say that area, I've written in my book that it was, we were really exhausted at this point. It was more hand over hand climbing than we thought. Like, think like the day we saw those birds.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think the lemon squeezer is included.
I'm going to say this right now. We've been having trouble last time we did a live stream. Live streaming on YouTube is in like beta. It's not like perfect. We do have problems sometimes. So if we cut out, we will be back. So just kind of bear with us if it does cut out. Last time we had a lot more trouble. This time seems to be pretty good. But as far as, we're going to get through this comment a little quicker. As far as that section in New York goes, our opinions are a little skewed. We were having a hard time when we got to there. We were really starting to feel the weight loss and a little bit of malnourishment. We were trying to carry less weight. But we were also expecting, because we got out of PA and we were out of the rocks, we were expecting it to get easier, and it didn't. New York is a lot of steep up and downs, not very high, but a lot of steep up and downs. And it was still really difficult. So there was a little bit of a low mentally in that part. So it's kind of hard to think of fond memories there, except for the ice cream.
Like they asked about the shelters, and we ate dinner at one of the shelters, not dinner, but a snack once. It was the day we got the ice cream, we ate like weirdo wraps that had like cookies and stuff in them.
Oh yeah.
What was that shelter name? That shelter actually seemed pretty good, and it had, I think that was like the last good water source, or right down below the shelter you could go into the state park and get water.
And when we're talking about brown water sources, this is something for all you guys out there. It's good information. Depending on the time of the year, the tannins from, I'm going to get this wrong, don't quote me, I think it's the pine trees, I'm not 100% sure. They get into the water sources, and you will find around New Jersey and New York, or at least we did, the water turns brown. The rocks are stained black. The water, from what we know, is still perfectly fine to drink, but sometimes it looks really bad. So we tried to avoid those sources sometimes, but there's a section there that you don't have much choice. You're just going to need to get water there. But we were told it's from the tannins from the trees and that it's still okay.
And Wawayanda shelter, which is just south of like the Warwick Turnpike crossing, is where we ate that meal, and I think it was a pretty good shelter. We didn't stay there. We were only there for like maybe a half hour.
Yeah, when we started our through hike, like Sharon said earlier, for the first week we really didn't see anybody. Most people that start in the bubble, the 1st of April or mid-March to mid-April, you're gonna have 50 people the day you start. So we don't have a really good a good idea about that. We did see some hikers. There were some people that we avoided because I think you're going to find that no matter what, and I think your best bet is to avoid those people. If you use your gut when it comes to that. If you feel that you're not so sure about somebody, then yeah, I would definitely avoid them. We didn't have any problems with stealing. Now I have heard a little bit of horror stories about people having their stuff stolen, like you said, bear hangs and stuff like that. So another way you can work around that is if you do have a bad feeling or if there's a lot of people in a shelter, push on by and camp. Try to not be around big groups, or at least, and you'll be able to get a good feeling from people when you meet them. And once you start talking to people, and for the most part, everybody we met were really, really great.
I agree.
Good.
One more, because Morgan tells us it's just the area they're asking about in New York is just before Bear Mountain Bridge. I will say that the Bear Mountain, the shelter that's like closest to, I think it would be Bear Mountain Shelter.
Yeah.
We didn't go there, but a lot of people stay there that night. That's where like Iron Man stayed and stuff. But there was good camp. We found good camping. There are a few campsites on top of that mountain.
That's where we camped.
Not Bear Mountain. It's the one. It's the mountain just south of Bear Mountain.
And they say that there's views of the New York City skyline from there. We didn't see them.
But we camped up there. Yo-Yo and Tweet camped up there the same night. So there's definitely enough room for people. But we heard that the shelter was full that night. So presumably it was a good shelter because people stayed there.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the shelters before that, we passed in between the Lemon Squeezer and that last mountain before Bear Mountain, which I think is like called Great Mountain or High Mountain, or I can look it up. Those shelters stink.
Really?
Yeah, remember, it's like the shelter that
her memory is just something that
Yo-Yo caught up to us in that one shelter that was literally falling apart.
I remember that shelter.
This is that day.
Oh, when you said stink, I meant like my feet.
No. Those ones are they're like falling apart.
Different kind of stink. Different kind of stink.
Not like again, those are the ones that are like right after the lemon squeezer.
Yeah, those are a little bit old. But yeah. But then,
and that area I thought was actually better, but honestly,
it might have been through there.
It might have been because we were with our friends again.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough for him. I think it's time for another drawing.
Drawing. Oh, it's over here.
It's my turn.
Oh, all right. So who was last?
So our first winner was Mr. Norman Lacey.
Norman Lacey.
Our second winner was Tom and Company 29. I almost said town. Sorry.
I know. I said town first. I think it's whoa. Okay,
I didn't realize we had more things.
We definitely have more questions, but we should draw. We want to make sure we get all the drawing in because we can just go until forever doing the questions.
Okay. Did you know anyone who had to deal with prescription meds?
Shh. Drury. Dig in there. Get deep.
I'm getting a good one.
You better. Dun, dun, dun.
Avery's review.
What? Oh, that's awesome.
He's your friend.
Yeah, actually, no, it's my friend's
son.
My friend's son. He does some videos on YouTube. He's like 7, I think. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't take me wrong. I hope I'm not wrong.
Anyway, Avery's review.
Nice. We'll get one out to you guys. That's awesome.
Okay, so did you?
Okay, where are we at here?
Did you know anyone who had to deal with prescriptions meds? They can't be mailed unless they come from a pharmacy or your provider. No, why not had prescription meds, but we didn't. I mean, we hiked with him in the beginning when he had already had his. If possible, can you get a 90-day subscription? Prescription, then most likely you'd only need one refill. Or, I guess, yeah, like you said, technically they can't be mailed by a family member. I guess if you have them
But you can go to a pharmacy.
Yeah, like if you have them filled at like a CVS or a Rite Aid or a Walmart, a store that is, you know, a chain store that you can just go to anyone and say, hey, here's my prescription number, and then they can fill them right at their store. Maybe that's the best way to do it.
Can you have the prescription mailed to you? Because then you would name.
Yeah, you could have the paper prescription mailed to you too.
We didn't actually encounter that, but I guess there's a couple options for you. Because
Yeah.
you do, I think people don't realize how often you can actually get into towns and, you know, get a shuttle into almost any kind of destination you want. You may have to hitchhike, or you may have to do something like that,
or
but
pay for the shuttle.
or pay for a shuttle. But you can, if needed, you can get off the trail and you can get to almost any store that you need. So if you want to plan something like that, and especially like Sharon said, if you can get a longer prescription and then be able to split it up with maybe a family visit. I mean, we had family visit us one time. Maybe they can actually bring you what you need. There's just a couple options. I don't know, maybe you just go to like White Blaze and maybe ask a question there on White Blaze. That would be a good spot to get a little more information.
Yep. Russ Parks asks or says, I plan to hike from Springer to Neal's Gap this summer. Is there a safe place to leave my vehicle close to Springer? So...
Amicalola, right?
Yeah, I would guess Amicalola State Park. You might have to pay like $5 a day for parking, but I think you can leave it there as long as you pay.
Yeah, I would say, and I don't know.
And there's the parking lot at Springer, which we didn't see because we didn't go that way.
Now, but there's also, I mean, there's
like Dahonganela or whatever, which is the closest town.
Dahongalela, isn't it?
It's not Layla.
I don't know.
Which, like, the closest town, and there's hostels there.
Now, if you have a guidebook, I mean, finger through the guidebook. Like Sharon said, hostels are going to be good because a lot of times they may even add a shuttle to that. So you're thinking about doing from Springer to Neal's Gap. You know what you do, and I don't know if this is possible. Contact Mountain Crossing.
Delonega. We never learned how to say it.
Yeah. Contact Neal's Gap and then ask them. You may be able to find something there, and they may shuttle you to Springer, and then you can walk back to your car, and then you don't have to worry so much about, you know, where you're parking. There's a dog going crazy outside.
I hear that.
Where you're parking and how you're getting to the car. That's another thing that people, I don't think, realize. There are shuttle services all around the trail. The trail is adapting for thru hikers and for hikers in general. All of your, not all of, but a lot of your hostels and stuff offer shuttles. And, you know, being able to park your car somewhere and then getting shuttled to where you want to start so you walk back your car is one of the more convenient ways of doing it.
I mean, there's a shuttle call, or there's a hiker hostel who will shuttle you like from the Atlanta airport and stuff. So most likely,
if they'll go from the airport, they'll most likely take you 40 miles. I mean, it's only 40 miles to Neal Gap.
But but Amicalola is right there. It's right exactly where you're going to be starting. So.
But it's where you'll be starting. But he's going to have to get a shuttle back there.
Back, yeah. So yeah, maybe park at Neal Gap.
So you park at either one of them. And we're not for sure. We're not from Georgia. I mean, we were there one time. We got dropped off at.
We were there twice.
We were there two. We were there 2 times.
What's up, peoples?
Oh.
My weight?
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
She doesn't like it. It's okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
it's
good.
baby weight.
She's beautiful.
Pause and play if it buffers. Fixed issues for me too.
Oh, thank you.
Scott.
Did we grab just before Bear? Did you know? Okay.
Oh,
so.
how long did your canister fuel last on average? We missed that one.
Oh, cool. So, and I think I covered it. Oh, I didn't cover it in the video. I answered it in a couple comments. The two sizes of fuel.
Small and large.
Yeah, the larger one we were using, because we used both of them at the beginning when it was cold, and we were boiling twice a day, and we were doing about 700 milliliters each time we boiled, which was it's one of the medium-sized smart water bottles, and that was enough to do our breakfast, and then we would do it again at dinner. And the larger one would last us anywhere from like 13, 14 days, almost 2 weeks, depending on if the canister is. What's that?
I would almost say maybe 10 to 12 days.
Okay, a little less, and it's better to air on that side because it's not that big a deal to carry a mostly empty can with your new one for a little bit before you get rid of it.
It just takes up volume.
Yeah, and we did that quite a few times so that we didn't risk running out. But in the colder temperatures, your fuel doesn't burn as efficiently, and you don't get that of a jet boil. So I think sometimes you're not as efficient. So I would say
5 to 7 for the smaller and 10 to 12 for the larger, if I remember correctly, and I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and that's for doing 2 times, and that's also for 2 people.
Yeah, 2 people twice a day.
So for one person, you may get a little bit more out of it. Depends on if you're gonna have a couple cups of coffee.
Yeah, which every once in a while we did.
Yeah.
Well, he did. Anyway.
Any hoozle.
Just watched Rooster's AT hike video from this week, and they had trees blow down on their shelter and almost take them all out.
Wow.
There's a shelter that is destroyed between Albert Mountain and the NOC, and
the NOC, yeah.
I think there was. It seems like I heard of that too, but it wasn't down south. Because I thought it affected you on your recent challenge, but maybe not. But then on your challenge, there's a shelter up by Harper's Ferry where a tree actually fell on a tenter last year.
That was last year. Yeah. I think this is this year.
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
But for some reason, I don't know. I had heard about from someone one of the shelters being closed right now because of a tree, and it could have been down south.
Yeah.
It is literally flat and gone. That's crazy.
That is kind of scary to think about. And that's another thing for you guys getting ready to start your through hike. Look before you don't look down, or you don't only look down when you're finding your camping site, especially if you're in a tent. You look down and then you also look up. For widowmakers they call them, trees hanging in trees, branches hanging in trees. So that's another thing to think about because that actually happens more often than you think.
Okay, so to answer Russ's question about where can he park, Chris tells us you can park at Springer. It's $50 for 2 weeks or more, free for less. Perfect. Well, then you have to go back to your car.
2 weeks more? Oh, yeah, so you're going to only be a week, so it's free.
Okay.
Nice.
Next question. Bog stain water. It's fine. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
All the adder in the boundary waters in Minnesota is like that. Looks just like Coca-Cola and boat motor. Yep.
Absolutely right.
Yep.
And like I said, we were told it was fine, and it's kind of eerie to pick it up and be like, no, this just looks like it's no good. And we didn't have any problem. I know, my feet stink. They can't smell it.
He biked a lot today.
I did bike a lot today.
Hollywood.
Hold on. And not only that, you guys should be proud of me. I just got done in the last 2 days for 16 hours of belaying kids in birthday parties, rock climbing birthday parties.
2 8-hour days in a row. That's like not that
hours of kids. You think about how excited a group of 20 kids are to rock climb.
Do you realize?
They're super excited and intense. And for 2 hours, you have to keep up that excitement. Way to go! You can do it. And then after they're done and they're tired, you send them on their way, and they bring in another group of 20 kids super excited to rock climb.
You realize that starting in July, I'm going to be working in a hospital for 16 hours in a row?
Oh, you've got it a lot worse. I understand.
Okay.
Let me have this right now.
Charlie Wood. Remember Charlie Wood?
I remember, because Charlie Wood's been here from the beginning. I think he was watching our videos when they first came out.
He says, how much longer before you have a junior hiker?
Could be tomorrow.
I'm due 3 weeks from tomorrow. So, 37 weeks.
But when we were at the doctors, they say, and it right now is that area where it could happen anytime. Sharon's feeling really good. Except for you're getting kind of restless, a little harder to sleep.
Yeah, it's harder to find a comfortable sleeping position. But, so I just go to bed earlier, try to figure out,
Yeah, our end of the month is a little crazy. So on the 18th is match day. On the 25th is the last day of school. On the 24th.
They gave us Friday off.
Are correcting. The 28th is the baby's due date. And we have to be out of the apartment by the 31st.
It'll be fine.
We've got a week in there that's pretty hectic.
Larry 3043 says, what were your experiences with bears and snakes? Rattlesnakes? We saw a lot of rat snakes.
Rat snakes are just a long, if you don't know, are just like an all black snake, and they can be, 3-4 foot, maybe even longer than that. So they look more dangerous. I was told on the trail that they are harmless. And the guy says, yeah, if they bite you, they don't have fangs, they just have a rows of teeth, and they'll just leave like rows of holes in your arm of their teeth. I'm like, that doesn't sound harmless to me. That sounds harmful.
Anyway, we saw a lot of those once we hit like Pennsylvania, maybe Maryland, Pennsylvania, and we heard that there was a rattlesnake on Mother's Day, so we would have been in New Jersey or New York.
It's up here. When you think, what is going on up here?
In my brain.
New Jersey or New York.
We heard that there was a rattlesnake on like a side trail, but we didn't take that one because it wasn't the AT.
Right, and we never saw a snake, and we saw
a rattlesnake.
Yeah, rattlesnake, and we saw 2 bear, but they were in the zoo, in the Bear Mountain Zoo
in New York.
So we never saw a bear on the trail.
Yeah.
But Eddie saw one that was only a couple days behind us.
Yeah, Stretch had some go around his tent.
Yeah, had like stalking him around his tent. This is what he said. This was his story. He just sat in his tent like all night blowing his bear whistle to try to get him to go away. He said they were like coming up to his tent, and that was in the Smokies, and that's, I guess, more common to have the bears in the Smokies. But you're not supposed to tent in the Smokies, so I guess the first site you can.
First site you can, which is where he was.
Anyways.
How did the hikers using a tarp and net bivvy fare compared to people using fully enclosed tents? We don't know anyone who used a tarp or bivvy.
I don't know anyone that used them, but from my experience, it depends on...
Which he's never used them.
Well, I was going off of my experience with a tent. With a tent, I think it just adds a certain amount of comfort in the tub. And I'm not sure about the tarp systems, if they still have that tub for when it rains. But... yeah, I don't know. For me, tents all the way. I don't think you save that much weight with a tarp. If you're going to take that kind of a shelter, you might as well. I don't know.
Personal opinion, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously, if you've watched some of my videos, we do not worry too much. We're not ultralight. But I will say, I think I'm going to start getting into it because I'm getting more and more curious about what it would be like to hike with less than 35 pounds.
Wimp.
So we'll see.
Chris tells me that my yellow mug is gigantic. It's maybe holds 2 or 3 cups of hot water.
It's super, super big.
Then they told us it's Delanica. Okay.
Obviously.
All right. Anyway. When will you be resuming? Oh, wait.
Whoa, what did you do?
Nike.
Get out of there. Hold on. I thought you just missed the...
No, we already answered that one. She repeated it because we missed it first time. When will you be resuming the 2 Katahdin series? We would really love to see you guys on Katahdin. I know you said you were enjoying rewatching
the... If we made it...
we were watching the videos that you posted, but we want to see too. I think that...
starting this net, you will get another 2 Katahdin.
I don't know when your last video was.
It was a while because, well, we got doing some other videos, and I had the opportunity when Sharon did the her baby shower and she was home visiting. I had the opportunity to get back on the AT and do that challenge hike, and I wanted to make videos for that too. So I do apologize. I will get back to them. This video is going to come out tonight, which is Sunday, and then next week. How about this? Next week, I will do a 2 Katahdin video before I post the next of the hike. So you'll get one next week, and I think there's only going to be like another 3, maybe 4. Yeah. So, just New Hampshire,
We made it to Katahdin. Was Pennsylvania more challenging than you anticipated? No. I think it was easier because everyone says it, the rocks, but they're really not bad until the last, 100 miles in PA, which sounds like a lot. It's really north of 501 Shelter and on.
It's actually a little bit less than 100 miles, too. It's like 60 or something like that.
Yeah. And they're really not even that bad until you get to Superfund.
And really, it's a little different. I think that when I was researching the AT, I thought, the PA's rocks were like, you had to jump on top of them, and it's like more boulder fields and stuff, which you get some of those. The main issue, I think, that was the worst part for PA's rocks are they get these little ones that are really sharp. They only stick out of the ground a couple inches, and it really hurts your feet. Your feet already hurt at that time, so really it's just adding a little bit of discomfort, and it's not that bad. Mentally, I think it can get to you, and I think we kept our mental power up very well through PA.
It helps that we're from PA.
Yeah, true. And we had a bunch of family visit us. Not a bunch, but we had family visit us in PA, so that also helped. But once we got past PA, and it was actually worse once we got past, and we expected, okay, we're through Pennsylvania, and we expected it to be kind of relax a little bit. It doesn't let up after PA. Those sharp rocks kind of go away, but then you start getting back into some more steep climbing, in through, past New York, and then I think that Connecticut wasn't too bad. It's pretty short too. But once you get into Vermont, now you're starting to get in Green Mountains, and you're starting to get into more mountain. So,
dude, he's asking about Pennsylvania, and you're talking about Vermont.
Wow, sorry. Sorry, I got off on a little tangent.
This is why we're 15 questions behind.
I'm sorry. Okay, next question.
Just for Russ Parks, who asked about Springer, here's more information from Michael Ryan. There's a Forest Service road that intersects the trail about a mile north of Springer.
They can read that. I'm just kidding.
Is this still live? Yes.
Yes.
So many people drop out before finishing the AT. I've watched many YouTube vids and see that people really don't eat well. How much do you think poor nutrition affects the attrition rate?
Well, no, I actually don't think that affects it very much. The dropout rate, for the most part, is at the beginning. Before malnutrition can even come into play, people drop out at Neal Gap 40 miles in. Something like 20 to 25% of people that start drop out at Neal Gap, and like I said, it's only 40 miles. And then another 20-25% drop out at the border. Is it Mountain Crossing? Yeah. Top of Georgia is Neal Gap.
No, Mountain Crossing is Neal Gap.
Top of Georgia, which is 80 miles or so.
Yeah. Border.
Okay. So by that point, by the first state, 50 people have dropped out. 50%. And that's before you can even get to that point. Now, with saying that, malnourishment and eating awful food is very big. And it actually has led my sister is a health coach, and I'm saying this now, and I know people have heard about it, and we're not getting there, but we still have been talking about doing a podcast called When Health Goes Hiking. She's a health coach, and she knows a lot more about nutrition than I do, but I know that a lot of hikers, that's something that we lack, is being able to bring good food with us while we're hiking. So that's something to maybe look forward to. But I don't think that the food has a lot to contribute to that first group that quits.
I think that it's not for a lot of people that drop out due to malnourishment or the food issues. It would be more of a mental issue than an actual true physical issue. Yeah, I mean, Nate lost 35 pounds on a trail. I lost 25-30 pounds on a trail. We weren't necessarily healthy. I mean, we were putting our bodies through a lot and breaking our bodies down. But it wasn't that we physically could not do it. Well, I think that I think it would be more of a mental thing. People get sick of eating ramen noodles every night, and there are a lot of options out there. Think how many towns there are where if you stop and get a decent meal at each of those towns, you probably won't ever technically be malnourished. Yeah. You'll still lose weight, but you won't be.
Yeah, we didn't notice a big physical change
until New York.
Until New York, and what we were doing is we were actually cutting back on our weight and our packs to try to make more miles, and it was a bad move because we're trying to go farther on less food. And we hit a little bit of a wall.
Up and down terrain.
And all that really did to us was, we were at a shelter at like 10 o'clock in the afternoon one time, and we're like, 10 o'clock in the morning one time, and we basically said we're just so, I feel like it's the end of the day, what is going on? And we just realized that we weren't eating enough food. We just didn't have enough calories, so we ended up almost doubling our food intake after that. A lot more weight, but we were able to walk and not get as tired. So I think that's a good point. I think that mentally the repetitiveness of it can get to people, but as far as the food itself, I don't think that's a reason why people are quitting.
Yeah.
Next question.
My bivvy has a tub. As for weight, though, my net tent and bivvy is 14 ounces.
That is super light. We had like a 4-pound tent. I don't know. Maybe it's not that heavy, but and like I said, I would like to learn more about the like ultralight. I'd like to get into some gear and stuff, and because now I'm kind of into it, but
this is a good
she
one.
won't let me buy gear.
Caught an earlier video where you were talking about building a home on a hill above the family farm. Perhaps soon? Looked like a beautiful place. At least not for the next 4 years.
Yeah, we still have to go to residency. Residency?
Residency.
And we're not able to go home for that. So we're going to have a residency program somewhere for 4 years before we would have a chance to move back. And that's on, I grew up on a dairy farm. That's the family dairy farm. I've always wanted to build a house up there. Since I was like 12 years old, I would go up there and look out at the view and be like, this is where I want to be. You can't hear cars. You can't hear anything up there. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I would love to build a house up there. Still would.
Knowing what you would know now, would you guys hike the entire AT again? Maybe after your kids grow up. Or with a child.
Yes, knowing what we know now, for me, it's an absolute yes. If I was able to do it again, I would.
So when we finished, I said I'm not going out for a day hike. And then about a week later, I was like, nah, I'm never going out for an overnight. And then about a month later, I was like, nah, I'm never going out for a week long. And now I'm like, can I please go out for a thru hike? Can I please? So, yeah.
At the end, you're pretty burnt out. And I think that's a common thing when you're finished. But as you get off the trail, you watch, like I've watched videos of the people starting this year, and it like pulls at you. You're like, you long for it now, because as hard as it was, it's some of the best things some of the best memories, and it's so true to like your nature of just I can't explain it. And this is something that you're going to ask every thru hiker, and you'll ask them like, what is it like to thru hike? And they can't explain it. I was talking to Rabbit, the thru hiker that I met at the Philadelphia Rock Gym, and when I was talking to him, he explained it. He said, you can never explain it to anybody except for another thru hiker. If you started to talk to another thru hiker, they would automatically understand. So it is a weird thing to try to explain. But yes, for sure, if I was able to, I would probably not do the AT again, because I would like to experience, the PCT or the CDT or something like that. I'd like to experience a new trail. I'm very into like a tick list. I've accomplished this. We call it a tick list in climbing. And I just want to move on to the next one. But if I had an opportunity, if someone said, here's a bunch of money, you don't have to work, you can go hike the AT, yes, I would do it again.
Speaking of moving on to the next one, should we do a question or a drawing?
How many drawings have we done?
3. And it's been about an hour.
Okay. We're doing another drawing. Drawing. Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah,
my
you
turn.
talk a lot.
I do talk a lot. This is a true statement. She's very smart. Digging deep, digging deep. Everybody cross their fingers. Ooh, this is, I unfolded a bunch of them.
Don't look.
I'm not looking.
Dan Edwards.
Dan Edwards, you are a winner. So far we have, for winners, Norman Lacey, Tom and Company 29, Avery's Review, and Dan Edwards. Very good. Very, very good.
Okay. This is a thinker question.
Oh my gosh. You better take care of this one.
For a 1-week section hike, maybe 10 to 15 miles a day. So we're thinking like 70 to 100 miles-ish.
Okay.
Any thoughts of where a good section would be? Fun, but not rock climbing. I would say like maybe Tennessee going into Virginia. They call it like the Tennessee Turnpike, the last 40 miles of that. Or the last 50 miles of that.
But there's no views. There's not. The Tennessee Turnpike was just like this nice flat area. It's easy hiking, but I don't think you're going to get like a little bit of the trail. I've always said this. What I would do is I would do the section where you go over McAfee Knob, Dragon's Tooth,
that's a good
and Tinker Cliffs. It's not rock climbing. You'll have a little bit of sections where you have to do. It'll be a little bit steeper, but it's not like really, really steep. You may cut your mileage down a little bit, maybe not think about doing 15 miles, like cap it at 10 miles, but some of the views are going to be amazing. You know, you get McAfee Knob, and then I was blown away by Tinker Cliffs. It's, is it a couple miles, I think?
I know. It's like maybe 1 mile.
I was wrong. But you walk right along this cliff's edge where the path is, the path and then the cliff, you know, and it's really cool. You can walk 10 feet inside there. You don't have to walk right along the edge, but you can if you want, and it's just super, super beautiful. I really like that.
That is a good section.
And I don't think it's
Knob.
And I don't think it's not like you're not going on, you know, the Whites or New Hampshire. You're not.
Yeah.
It's not that.
And you could finish.
I'm moving my hands a lot.
You could finish in like Waynesboro. Not Waynesboro, Daleville, because that was right after McAfee Knob.
That would be a section that I would look into.
Okay. How did you get from Baxter to a bus or plane home? Not really worried about it now, but was just wondering. So we hitched out of Baxter.
Which is the only thing that you can do.
We hitched out of Baxter into Millinocket.
Yeah, Millinocket.
And then Nate's mother came and picked us up from there, so we didn't have to get a bus to Portland or anything like that.
We were very, very fortunate. My mom was amazing when it came to helping us. She was our go-to when we needed something shipped to us. We would call her. She would package everything up and ship it to us. She and my stepfather drove us to Springer Mountain. Mm-hmm. They visited us one time in Connecticut right after we had visited my sister. Vermont. And then also, and she is retired and she likes traveling and stuff too. So she did get to travel to Maine, but she was there for us there too. So,
but it's funny because they drove down to Springer and back home, and then they drove up to Maine and back home.
They drove farther than we walked.
They did. They drove further than we walked. And it only took them like 24 total hours or something.
It only took us 153 days.
Starting as early as you did you have any issues with snow? Would it be wise to pack snowshoes? I would say not snowshoes, but I'm blanking. Crampons.
If you want to start that early, there's a good chance that the Smokies are going to be icy. And actually, after we got to the Smokies, we still had a little bit of ice.
And even before that, northern Georgia.
I'm having a hard time talking. Is it time?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because you have a chance of ice anywhere. I guess the one thing, I don't really foresee that ice on the trail being super dangerous because there's trees and stuff and you can go around. What it'll do is it'll really slow you down. Mm-hmm. So if you're worried about weight and something like, I don't want to take, crampons, Gator hiked right with us the whole time. He never had micro spikes or anything. And he did pretty good hiking on the ice.
Eddie too.
And Eddie did as well. So
they just had longer days than us.
True, because you can't hike as fast. Mm-hmm. And then you'd be very surprised with a good set of micro spikes or like the ice trekkers that we use at the end. You can walk just about normal if you have a nice pair of those micro spikes on over the ice. But I would say you're not going to have to worry too much about snow. And actually, snow is not that bad.
Yeah, snow's not bad. I mean, sometimes it's crunchy and you have to step down into it post hole, or if there's like frozen footprints, it's kind of annoying because you have to go walk in someone else's stride, or else create your own with the crunchy snow.
Now, if you have the option of having snowshoes sent to you and a convenient way to have them sent home, then if it's really bad, you can have them sent to you. Because, I mean, there's a chance that you could have some pretty deep snow.
But I wouldn't buy them specifically for the trail.
I personally probably wouldn't even consider having them sent. But I was just saying that because I think people they don't realize how easy it is, you know. If you're thinking maybe you want to have crampons for the Smokies, then plan on having them shipped to you at Fontana Dam and then having them shipped home directly after the Smokies. You know, that's a possibility. It could happen. It's a little bit of extra money in shipping the stuff, but it's not really as hard as people think it is. Next.
We have to go down. Are there any GNC near the trail? Because we're talking about protein powder.
We're that far behind?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not that we know of, but we weren't looking for them.
Wait, what are we looking for?
Are there any GNCs? Like those vitamin stores?
Oh.
I'm planning to maintain my vegan diet when I thru hike. Any thoughts or advice? Vegan.
I think they heard you. I think that you're going to be able to do some research. Who was it that did? Scott Jurek. Is it Scott? Scott Jurek.
Is he? But he's all that
vegan.
support.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Totally different. Remind me.
Vegan is vegetarian with like fish and stuff, some meat. Tell us if we're wrong. And it's all raw foods. I think that's more of the issue.
Oh.
I think that it's mostly raw foods. And don't
Can
get
you
us wrong.
dehydrate stuff? Because you could dehydrate yourself
But you can't put the hot water in and cook it. Because you're not cooking the food. So it'd have to be fresh foods. I think the main problem with the vegan diet is because you're going to have all of the moisture in the food. You're going to be carrying a lot of weight.
What was Kashmir? Kashmir had a special diet.
I don't know if she was vegan.
Okay.
And we could be wrong with a vegan. Your problems is going to be with fresh fruits or vegetables, period. It's a lot of weight. And also you're not going to have the opportunity to refrigerate. Now, I guess the best advice would be to try to plan your stops every 2 to 3 days instead of like 4 or 5 days that we would have. You're going to have to resupply more frequently, and it is possible in a lot of the areas. Now there are some areas where you're going to have to go longer periods, and it's going to limit you on what you can take. And I'm not quite sure about vegans if you can make like a vegan granola bar that's not heated or anything like that. Trail mixes are going to be a big thing for you, I'm sure. But like I said, I'm not 100% sure on your limitations with that eating. So, and I'm sure the information's out there. If you maybe it could be could be on White Blaze. Research it on White Blaze. Maybe they have some more information there for you.
You all left pretty early in the season. Do you think that the more serious hikers leave early and the people out to have a good time tend to leave after spring arrives? I mean, we're pretty serious.
Yeah. We're not serious people. But we were out there for the hike.
It seemed like everyone who left early was. We can't say the percentage or the proportion of people who left later if we're assuming that more of them were less serious because all of us were serious. And
it goes to show in our success rate. I mean, out of the 30-ish people that we really hiked with, 30 to 40 people on and off, I can only think of, maybe two people that didn't finish. So, I mean, that's a great ratio of people to finish as opposed to normally it's like 1 in every 4.
And there's even a few hikers who did start later and they worked their butt off to catch
up to our group.
Or to, be where we were to get ahead of the bubble. Yeah. Because
I think if you are out there for the nature and the hike, people will say flip-flops and stuff. I think if you're out there for that, get ahead of the bubble, and you're going to be happier for it.
A happy camper.
I love her.
Nate, if you're into biking, there's a wonderful trail that goes past my house from Pittsburgh to DC, 330 miles.
Ooh, that would be fun. I just rode my bike today for 12 miles. That was nice.
Florida Trail, only about 3 months. Florida Trail is swampy and alligatory.
With snakes, I don't want to. There's probably sharks in the water, too.
No thanks.
I'm sure there's sharks. Alligators, sharks, and snakes, oh my.
I don't know.
I still would probably try it.
I don't know what all that means.
What's that? I subbed. Thank you.
Would you cry or be happy? Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. Oh, it's someone that came here that's not into the hiking, I think.
Go back up.
All right, how about you leave it alone?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
Okay, vegan, or here we go. Hold on. All right.
Go back up.
We're going up. We're going up.
Okay. Vargo titanium cleats. If you leave early, they weigh 4 ounces. There's titanium and webbing, so no rubber to wear out. That would be perfect.
That would be very good.
Long live Gator.
Long live Gator. Well, I like this comment that says the Hiking Vikings rule. That's pretty cool. Hey, and also, I was talking with, and you'll hear a little bit about it in my next video for the thru hike. Krusty is his trail name. And we actually met him in New Hampshire, and I was able to meet up with him a little bit on the trail. And he was talking about the real Hiking Viking. Now, we got these goofy hats, and we got the trail names, the Hiking Vikings, from there. But there's a guy out there right now that has been on the trail for the past couple months.
He's doing a winter sobo.
He's doing a winter? Yeah, a winter sobo hike.
I told him about this like 3 months ago.
But I haven't talked to people about them yet. But either way, really, I guess a really cool guy, pretty extreme to be doing. He's doing all the northern section in the winter. I guess Katahdin wasn't open yet, so he has to.
He got a special permit.
I don't think he did Katahdin.
I thought he got a special permit.
He may have. But anyways, that's something to check out. The real Hiking Viking. Okay.
Why don't you just keep talking?
I will keep talking.
Give us some dirt on Gator.
Give us some dirt on Gator? What do you mean, dirt on Gator?
He goes, what does he say?
What do you mean, what does he say?
He says something all the time.
Yes, sir!
Yes, sir! That's like his thing.
Well, they know that if they've watched his videos. Gator actually, he talks about, and I caught it in one of my videos, he talked about how he seems very like, just go with it, and but he actually plans a lot more than you think.
He pretends like he doesn't plan, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just out for a hike." No, he plans.
He plans. But he's actually doing some pretty crazy winter hiking too, and I'm sure you guys have seen it on his channel. He's doing some pretty gnarly stuff. Gnarly is one word that he would use probably.
Wicked.
Wicked. There's another Gatorism.
Would you recommend a head bug net? Since I'm starting in April, I would recommend a head bug net if you were you were starting at any time.
At any time. We carried them.
We used one.
Yeah, we used 2 actually, because he's a really big head and we couldn't share. Yeah, I couldn't put it in there. Yeah, I tell you what, there's going to be times that you probably don't need it, and there's people that'll say there's no reason for it. It weighs
nothing.
Yeah, I know it does. But it is just, it's so nice. We had sections in Maine where it was just buggy.
Especially, I mean...
And they're gone, they can't.
We didn't often wear it during the day. It was either just like at night whenever we were still hiking, meaning like maybe 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock whenever it was still light out at that time. But in the 100-mile wilderness, we wore them all day long. It was definitely necessary.
I think we started with them in our pack.
Oh yeah, we did. We took them.
And then we sent them home and got them sent back to us because
I don't think we sent them home because they weighed nothing.
We kept them the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How many gear failures did you have? Broken tent poles, packs, shoes, boots, clothes. Our pants ripped in the crotches a lot. I have
no idea why. I have no idea.
Well, because we're walking a lot.
Oh, okay. Walking.
My pack, my beloved starter pack, I needed to get a new one.
Yes, because that
boots.
failed. And then boots, and also the Yak Track Pro crampons.
Oh yeah, the Yak Track
just
Pros.
Disintegrated.
So, but I would say like the only real one would have been like the Yak Tracks, because the boots and the clothes we just...
Trekking poles. Your trekking poles, yes, they survived to Maine. I wish I had the trekking poles to show you guys, because they are destroyed. You're going to wear through, absolutely for sure, you're going to wear through trekking pole tips. So have a way of getting yourself new tips, and change your tips before they get too bad, or you'll ruin the end of your trekking poles and you will not be able to get new tips. Basically what we did, Sharon just wore them farther down to the pole. Her trekking poles just kept getting shorter as we went. I made Franken poles. I went at like shelters and hiker boxes. I took parts of trekking poles and put them together, and I have these trekking poles that are made out of like 4 different kinds. Anything else we had wear out?
No, but for like the shoes and the clothes, take a little bit of thread and a needle with you.
Very good.
And you'll be fine.
Yeah, you can sew. And with the shoes, we actually used, for thread, you may want to consider for like the shoes, fishing line. So having a little bit of a spool of fishing line to sew up your shoes is good. Big, sturdy needle. And then for your clothes, to have a little bit of thread just to sew your clothes together is a lifesaver in a couple, in different situations.
A pulley leaves from Harper's Ferry in just 40 days.
All right.
Vegans, no animal products, but it can be cooked. So maybe dehydrated fruits and vegetables, a lot of.
Well, I think the problem with that, then, with a vegan, your problem is going to be your proteins. But you'll be surprised how much protein you get. She might have been. With your, because she had protein bars.
Yeah.
But, your trail mixes and a lot of that, you can get a lot of your protein that way.
And then here's a vlog you can check out for your vegan cooking.
Oh, cool. So some people have been commenting. That's nice.
Oh, come on. Go back up.
Did I do that again?
Yeah, you just did that again. Okay, stop. Loner, loved your 2012 vids. Best part was your... Okay. Little backstory on my hiker seriousness question. I had to delay leaving by 2 to 3 weeks. I'm now nervous that you have to worry about immature people who went out to party. The good news is that if you're in shape, the partiers are really, we started 8 miles a day. The partiers are really only going to be doing 8 to 10 miles a day for a while. So you just need 1 or 2 15-mile days, and already you're a day ahead of them, or 2 days ahead of them.
And I think that group that a lot of people are trying to avoid, like I said, by the time they get to Georgia, 50% of people,
North Carolina.
Sorry, the border there, like 50% of those people have quit. So you wouldn't have to deal with them for too long. And then, like Sharon said, if you're in good shape, you can hike faster, and you're gonna be able to pull away from them over time. And then as you keep ahead of them, if I did this way, as you keep ahead of them, or I'm going north, they would just kind of fade away. And you're going to meet up with some more of those people that are quit, more of those people that are those serious hikers. And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people...
serious hikers starting then, too.
Exactly. And
it's just that there'll be more of the less serious.
And I think you're going to be able to find the people that you kind of connect with that are into the same kinds of things and that you will enjoy hiking with. And what's going to happen is you're going to end up banding with them and staying at the same campsites and stuff. And together you'll probably, be able to avoid the people that you don't want to spend time with. And I tell you, I didn't meet that many people that I didn't want to spend time with on the trail. I don't know very many hikers that aren't really good people.
How difficult was it to transition back to civilization after months on the trail? For us, it actually happened pretty quickly, and I don't know if it happens that quickly for everyone, but 10 days after we finished, we got married, and then another 10 days after that, we had moved to Philadelphia. So we were planning a wedding, finishing up planning a reception, finding an apartment in Philadelphia, figuring out everything we needed to take to move. This guy was just sitting around.
And I think that's...
So I guess maybe we should have you answer this question, because you weren't that busy.
Yeah, it was great. I really think that because we were so busy, and I was busy too.
I don't know what you did.
I married you. But for us, we were just kind of thrown into one thing and another and another and another, and it was kind of all jumbled together. And I think it really kind of hit us a month after we got back from the trail, when we started to kind of fondly look back at it and go, oh,
yeah,
it's over.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much that we had a hard time getting back to normal life. It's when you start missing the trail, I think, is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Once you get back, it's like, okay, I'm back in normal life. And at least for us, and I think everybody's a little bit different.
And our feet hurt for 2 weeks. So
yeah, your feet are going to continue to hurt. That's the worst transition, is you have to wait for them to stop hurting. But then once you start missing the trail, I think was definitely the hardest part for me. Once it is finally set in that not only is it over, but you can't go back, because you can't. Even if we went back and hiked the trail again, we would never have that same experience. That experience, which is so amazing, is over, and we can never have it back. And that's why going through the videos and stuff is so special for us, because we get to relive that, and because there is no having that experience again. Okay.
Find Gator and put dirt on him. Oh, Avery's review.
Oh, Avery's review is here. Winner, chicken dinner.
You want a pouch. I hiked in the Whites in the middle of winter. It is very quiet and peaceful. Shoes required. Yeah.
That was, and it was very nice on this last hike I just went on, the winter hike, because in the winter it is super peaceful in the woods, except for it was really cold when I did it, and there was snow, and you had that squeaky crunch of the snow, but when you stopped walking, it was really,
you realize
really
he
nice.
means like snowshoes required.
I know, but I wasn't saying that.
Okay. Trail runners or hiking boots? So we each went through 3 pairs, and our first 2 were boots. Our last ones were trail runners.
I think you gain some confidence in yourself as you go. I don't think it's necessary, and a lot of people probably will disagree. I don't think it's a bad idea to start with a higher boot at the beginning. You're going to walk less miles. They do say every pound on your foot is like 10 pounds on your back.
I think it's like 8.
The weight on your feet does make a difference. But for people that haven't hiked a lot, you're funny. Rolling an ankle can put you off the trail. If you break an ankle, you could be done. So having the ankle support at the beginning, and when you get going, I think is not a bad idea.
And then for us, at least for my feet, not for Nathan's, because his feet are furnaces, but
Furnacinians.
I probably couldn't have done trail runners in the beginning because my feet would have been so cold.
Yeah, and that's another thing to consider as well, depending on what time you start.
But by the end, I was confident enough that I wasn't going to roll an ankle, and it was warm, and we were fording creeks and rivers, so trail runners.
And if it's something that you do a lot of, if you're constantly on the trail.
If you're already wearing trail runners,
wear trail runner. Because you're going to get about the same. We got about 800 miles out of either the boot or the trail runners. So you're going to get just about as much, and I think we pressed it a little farther. I wouldn't, if you're doing trail runners, I wouldn't think it would be bad to do 4 pair. And then go.
Yeah.
Because
our trail runners we got about 1,800 out of, but they were our last shoe, and those are the ones we had to sell.
And we had that idea that our feet are going to hurt anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Are you guys following any hikers on the trail this year? Highlanders seems like a good one.
Okay, sorry, I moved it again. Why is it doing it so fast?
Because we're so far behind.
No, we're not. Where are we at? Where's the next one?
Keep going up.
I use my spot.
Keep going up.
Oh,
okay, right there.
Oh, we are very far behind.
So let's make this quick.
Okay.
We haven't chosen anyone in particular to follow yet this year.
I've been kind of watching some of the videos and then talking to other people about it. The only one that I've kind of followed a little bit would be the Sobo, the real Hiking Viking doing the southbound. And that's just been talking about it. So, yeah, we'll have to look into. Leave some of them in the comments for us to check into. So that we can kind of choose a couple to follow. That'll be really fun.
More. Next. Keep going.
I am trying. I'm just trying not to go fast. Don't yell at me.
Oh! You're so bad at this. You should just let me do it.
No.
Okay, stop. What's the minimal amount of money you would think I would need on a very small budget?
You're talking very small. You're talking to the right people right here.
So we spent... Not including gear. So this was just on-trail purchases. A combined about $5,000. So $2,500.
I don't think it was even that much.
Well, yeah.
I think it... 5,000? No, we spent a lot less than that. Not including gear.
Oh, yeah, because we gave ourselves $100 a week, and that was for both of us.
$100 a week
or
for
it was
both of us.
$150. It was $150.
It was $150. She's
so
wrong.
We did $150 a week. And we only exceeded that at the beginning because we didn't start the trail with that budget in mind. We took on that budget in the Smokies. And then at the end, we didn't stick to that budget either because it was just like, you know what? We just need a hotel stay. You know what? We just need a meal.
But we were very close to that budget throughout the trip at $150 a week.
But that also didn't include mailing ourselves packages. So, like, I think that...
That was another $500 or something total.
So... $500.
It was 20 weeks at $150 a week.
It was more than 20 weeks.
We were on the trail for 20 weeks, weren't we?
We were on a trail for 22 weeks, I think.
Ew.
So that's about 3,300, I think. And then, so 3,800, but that's for 2 people.
That's what I got to, 3,800.
So take 2,000 minimum. But if you do that, you have to be frugal. You have to buy the ramen noodles. You have to go from this gas station to that gas station and see which place the ramen noodles are cheaper. Well,
you don't have to. Mainly, I think you can't get the all-you-can-eat buffet in every town. You can't stay in hotels that often, and you probably are going to, when you go through a town, people are going to be staying at a hostel. You need to stay in town for a little bit, maybe grab something to eat, resupply, and then get back on the trail. Your town stays are you're going to spend some money there. So if you skip out on those, you can save a decent amount of money there. And then, like Jaron was saying, shopping. What are you buying? If you can buy things in bulk before you start. I mean, we bought a bunch of bags of beef jerky and then also a bunch of bags of granola bars that were just bigger quantity in a better price. You're going to save a lot of money there as well. But you can do it really, really cheap, especially if you have the gear. But I would say this, it is very hard to do that because it's hard to leave your friends in a town when they're going to a hotel. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to do that because they are all going out to eat and you really want to go out to eat, especially these people you've met and you've had a lot of fun with them. And if they stay there an extra day to take a zero and you can't spend the money, you're going to get ahead of them. And when are they going to catch up? It's hard splitting up with your trail friends. So I would say that it can be done, but try to get as much money together because I think it'll help you enjoy the trip. Pretty good? Oh, wow, we take too long for questions.
He takes too long. He's a talker. I'm using a spot for my family's peace of mind. Did it help your family keep up with you? Yes. Do it. We send a message every morning and every night. In the beginning, Nate's mother actually looked at the map and would send out to our families, they're at this shelter today. It looks like they did this many miles.
Which was
I think she kind of petered out towards...
Like I said, she was retired and she had the time and she really liked keeping up with our progress.
But there were maybe 1 or 2 times where for some reason our spot didn't send and we would get text messages saying, the next time we turned on our phones, saying, where are you? Are you okay? What's going on? So I think they've really appreciated it, and it was worth it. It was so worth it.
Definitely. Spot, yes.
Do you guys plan on doing any trail magic this year? Nathan did a little bit. We probably won't, except that Nathan's doing trail work.
I'm doing a week on the Cotter Rock Trail Crew.
We covered
this question, though.
Yeah.
But if we stall on it.
Fine. Okay. Just watch the beginning.
The video at the beginning, we covered a question very similar
Again,
to
with
that.
the spot, they require the ultimate lithium batteries. Did you have trouble finding them? We never replaced our batteries.
If you do it the way that Sharon and I did it, where you shut it off, you turn it on in the morning, send your message, and then at night turn it on and send your message, then the batteries will last you the whole trip.
And he actually took it on his hike just recently, and the batteries are still fine.
The batteries are still good.
So.
Now, you may have to worry about the batteries if you are going to have it constantly tracking you and sending that signal, but you don't have to have it doing that. And if you are going to do that, then I've heard that it still may last the whole trip.
Yeah, we heard.
If not, you'll have to change batteries one time.
Yeah, we heard from someone who said that he used his tracking the whole time and it was fine, but that's secondhand information.
Mm-hmm.
How hot was it in the Mid-Atlantic, and what time of summer were you hiking through that area? So we were I
don't know why it jumps. Sorry.
We were in the middle of Virginia in April. We made it to Pennsylvania May 1st. We were into New York.
I planned on a 100 to 120 day hike, averaging 20-mile days with less than... Well, he's going to end up being there about the same time. If he can't start as early, but he's going to finish
faster.
Over 30 days faster.
And it wasn't hot. I would say it really, there were maybe a day here and there when it was hot, but the only real hot days I remember were the 100-mile wilderness.
Yeah.
However, I will say that another reason we didn't like New York is that it was really humid when we were going through New York. And that would have been middle to end of May. But
you know, and
if you're averaging 20 a day from the beginning, you'll be ahead of us.
And there is a lot of different ways of dealing with the heat, and that's a good thing to maybe do a tips from the trail about dealing with the heat, because there are some. We had those buffs. We would, every time we would go by a stream, we would dip the buffs in the stream and then wear them. Being able to, you know, choose your clothing, and I'm not going to go into the whole thing now, but I think you'll be able to find some really good ways of dealing with the heat, and I don't think it would be too bad of an issue.
Right. Before we move on, we need to do another drawing.
Drawing. Everybody do a drum roll because we can't. Sharon can. Bing! You stopped. You ran out of breath?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Yon Junkus.
Yon Junkus.
Y-O-A-N.
Yon.
Yon.
Maybe.
J-O-N-C-A-S.
Junkus. Right?
Yon Junkus.
Yon Junkus.
You have won a
Cooking pouch.
pouch. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So to go over again, our winners
we
are
only have one more to draw.
Norman Lacey. I wish we had more. Tom and Company
You can make
29.
them.
Avery's Review. Dan Edwards. And Yon Junkus.
You're saying the name funny. She's not doing it on purpose.
I'm not good at pronunciations.
Pronunciations.
This guy likes your Urban Hiker series. Where would you tell novices to spend their money?
Oh. Spend your money. Well, and
Tent, pack.
Okay, if you're saying gear, then maybe. But I think, like, and I say it in my videos, I am one of them guys that says, you know, you don't need gear. You can just use the book bag that you have. There was a guy that is a triple crowner that made all of his gear, except for maybe his shoes, made his pack and made his clothing and stuff. Like, you can get away with not spending money on gear. It's not...
I'm just yawning, sorry.
Okay. I don't think it's as important, especially for beginning. So maybe to enjoy it, for a very beginner, go out and see some of the beautiful hikes. Spend a little bit of money on traveling to destinations that wow you, that can really get you into hiking. I think that would be a good spend for the money, because even think about gas and stuff like that. And then, like Sharon said, if you're going to start thinking about gear and stuff, a good pack is like a number one. It's like a staple. If you're going to get into hiking, good pack, and then a good pair of boots. And that's after you've kind of found out that it's something that you really like, and then you've spent some time trying some, you know, using the shoes that you already have, or using a pack. Find out how much stuff you're going to carry. But I think, yeah, getting out there and seeing, there's some really beautiful places, and you may have to travel to them, which costs some money.
Hello from Canada, A, my friend.
Hey! Is that the A from the before when we were saying A?
A.
A.
How old are you? 26, 32. Late to the party, but I am here. Keep going down.
Okay, I'm going to try to go down.
Okay, stop.
Good.
Find any Indian arrowheads.
Didn't look.
Didn't look.
For a while, I was looking for mushrooms in Virginia. They were talking about, what kind were they?
Morel
mushrooms. I never found any, but they caused me to stub my toe a lot, because I was looking for mushrooms and I would kick stuff. So I stopped looking because my feet hurt.
Did you go to trail days? We did not go to trail days. We were north of Damascus at that time, and we did not want to take the time to go back. We've contemplated going this year, but we will have a brand new baby, and
so it's undecided.
Yeah, and we don't know if any of our friends are going. So.
Yeah, we've considered a reunion with the 2015 class that we hiked with, and we thought, you know, trail days tends to end up being a reunion. But
trail work could also be
I was saying, this Conner Rock trail crew, we've thought about maybe trying to get a reunion together where instead of going to trail days where you're just encouraged to buy gear and spend money and it's more of like a festival, and obviously we started our hike early to avoid the big crowds and stuff, so maybe it would be better for us to get together with the group and all of us get together and spend a week together on a trail crew, taking care of blowdowns and rebuilding the trail and stuff. So that's maybe something we can do next. Okay.
No, go up. No, stop.
I'm stopped.
Oh wait, no, go up.
Okay, I'm going up. There's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah.
Taffy. No, it's Lady Taffy.
Oh.
And that's like-
Lady Taffy. I gotta go. I left my address in the Facebook message. Thanks. Thank you, guys.
Way to go.
A. Have you two been watching my YouTube channel on Canadian winter hiking? A. As this is my practice for the International AT and the AT. Have you been watching?
I think I did watch, what was the last video where you said, and I could be wrong, I've been watching some of the videos, but there's one where you were, I think you were in a hammock, maybe. Or is it the channel where you did one with bird watching? Because there was a cool video someone just put out with just like birds. I think that was in, maybe it was in Michigan.
Go down.
Sorry.
I must admit I have not been.
Sharon doesn't watch YouTube.
I don't watch anything.
True, or TV, really. Actually, we will say that we've been spending a lot of time watching TV because we've been waiting for the baby.
That's true.
We just wait. So we've been watching Dexter, which is a serial killer TV show.
Yeah, kind of creepy.
Yeah,
but intriguing.
Yeah, it's fun.
The water dip buff was something I was thinking about for the humidity. Yeah, that helped a lot.
Yes, that did. And like I said, and I'm saying this a lot, but White Blaze is a great source of information. Go there. They'll have some... What are you doing?
I'm thinking. Someone asked me a Laffy Taffy question.
Okay. I'm just saying that that's probably a good source of information for that. There's a lot of ways to beat the heat. And I think that's... I don't know, maybe... you said you're from Alaska. I mean, dealing with snow sometimes can almost be easier because of the ways you can control the temperature, and sometimes you just can't bring the temperature
down. Who said
down.
they were from Alaska?
I think he was talking about beating the heat because he's from Alaska and he doesn't have a problem dealing with cold.
I missed that. Give away
Pay more attention.
Give away the hat. We can't give away our Hiking Viking hats. You're
Oh,
silly. Maybe
no.
we can buy one off of Sarah. Our sister-in-law made them for us, so maybe
That's
we'll
true.
have her make another one.
You said Sarah's Barnyards, right?
Sarah's Barn Yarns, like BARNYARNS.
Barn Yarns.
And
she
that's
does
on
a
Facebook
lot of
and
things.
Etsy.
Yeah, so Facebook and Etsy. Never heard of that.
That's because you're weird.
Yeah, so go there, and she does all. That's where she made us the hats. You may be able to purchase a Viking hat through there.
What kind of bagel
Wanna be
flies?
What kind of bagel flies?
I don't know kinds of bagels.
I'm no good at these.
Maybe
She's
instead
the
of a
one that's-
blueberry, like a bluebirdy bagel?
Bad.
Rye flies. A rye bagel. I don't know. That one stumped me. What kind of bagel flies?
Hold on. This has to be a true Laffy Taffy question. You had to have got it off of a Laffy Taffy. I want a Laffy Taffy. Want a Laffy Taffy?
We have some in the cupboard. Wanna be Canada, eh?
Yes, eh?
Our Canadian friend is calling himself the Hiking Sailor.
Ooh.
Doesn't quite rhyme like the Hiking Vikings. Not that cupboard, the lower left cupboard.
Lower left cupboard.
Wait, there's going to be a wee little Viking? Yes, there is. We're excited. Okay, so our Canadian friend...
Gotta have them. I want a banana.
I uploaded a new Canadian hiking video today, which is the best. My new favorite trail in the New Brunswick now. 5 fathoms tall. Lunar AT. Okay. A plain one. Oh, a plain one! Oh, that is so good.
Bagel.
That is so good.
That is very good.
Oh, I feel ashamed. That is awesome. Womp womp.
Okay, where do cows go to have fun?
The
it's
movies.
easy. Oh, quit it. It's theirs to do. Why was the policeman in bed?
Something about being arrested. Because he got beat up?
No,
Why?
because he's an undercover cop.
Oh. What did the hot dog say when he won the contest? This is a good one.
I'm a wiener.
Yeah. Why did the spider log onto the computer?
Something about web.
I think
See his
like
web.
to check his website
To
or
check his
something.
website. That's a good
He
one.
wanted to go to his website.
Nailed it.
Adrian, are you in New Brunswick? How did you handle the stink with each other on the trail?
She started to like it.
I did.
She's gross.
I did.
Super gross.
It's funny because you start to smell day hikers. Like, you can smell them before they come. You smell their soaps and perfumes. And that bothers you more than the than just the hiking smell.
The natural smell of stinking, you just kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
It really is not bad. Yeah. I didn't have a problem with it at all.
Go down.
I'm going down.
Is that it?
She made that one up. That is a good Laffy Taffy
I think
joke.
it's a he. Burning beard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I guess it could be a female. And I would be sorry.
We've caught up.
We have caught up.
Awesome.
That's very exciting.
Woo.
And it's almost time for our final drawing.
Final drink. All right, so we're going to do some more Laffy Taffies because that's fun. And I like them.
Okay.
Ooh, green.
Why did Dracula's mom give him cough syrup?
Too much neck blood.
Something like because he was in a coffin, or he had been.
Oh, because he's been in a coffin.
Because Dracula was coughing.
Because Dracula was coughing.
What is another name for a sleeping skeleton? Oh, I think I know this one.
Henry.
Lazy bones.
Oh.
Lazy bones! I never heard that one before.
He started to, you should watch him, eh? Alright. Candy, Highliner 58. We'll have to check out some of those.
You're skipping a question.
Yeah.
Did you like your big Agnes pump bag?
The actual bag that fills up, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I did, because it was my task while Nathan cooked every night. I had to blow up both sleeping pads, which actually, like, my face would start getting numb.
Well, I walked sometimes a mile and a half for water.
My face would go numb.
I'm awesome.
So, for my birthday, Nathan said, hey, you should buy yourself this.
So she
I
did. Okay.
Wait, I'm not done. So, yeah, I liked it. Now, we didn't really use it as anything other than the pump. It could have been used as, like they said, a dry sack, a pillow, a water like reservoir.
But anytime, I'm sorry for interrupting, but anytime something has got multiple purposes is always really good.
And the only reason we didn't use it as the pillow, for example, is because I just got used to not using a pillow, and he already had one.
And all of those extra, like, it was a 2-in-1, 3 different things you can make it. We already had those other items because we had already got it, or because we got it partway on the trail. So, but yeah, we really like that. Now the Big Agnes sleeping bags, not so much. Or sleeping pads, not so much.
They're just not necessarily meant for thru-hiker use. They leak after a while. Now, the company's good about replacing them, but you have to go for a week or two until they can get you a replacement where you're sleeping basically on the ground or having your fiance blow your sleeping pad up 5 times a night.
What gives a ghost the right to scare?
A haunting license.
You're not even giving them a chance. All right. How come the Buffalo Bills went to the bank?
Oh, this is easy, but I'll give you a few seconds.
One.
To get their quarterback.
Give him 1 second.
Well, it's just too easy.
Well, what was the worst one we had on the trail?
Lucky did it. And he thought it was funny.
No, the worst one was about how does every baseball player get a hit?
Oh yeah, I can't. He sings
They
a song.
sing
or
a
something.
song.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, it was awful. And we read the name and it was bad. All right.
Okay. How do you circumcise a whale? I don't know if I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know if should be on Laffy Taffy. Did you read that on a Laffy Taffy? Are you sure you read that on a Laffy Taffy? I don't believe you.
I'll think about that for a second. Oh yeah, you asked me if I hiked before. Well, I did, but the military. Oh, an 80-pound pack. Okay, so our Canadian friend is starting true hiking now. Did you take maps? If so, for what parts of the trail? We only had our guidebook. That's all we did. Is AWOL's AT guidebook.
Sure, okay. And always get the current version. This is just the one that we use. There's also the Hiker's Companion, which we can't vouch for because we never watched it. What?
Foreskin divers. Okay. Are you making these up? Okay. What are your thoughts? This is a perfect question for Nathan. What are your thoughts on quitting a good job to thru-hike the trail? How about a completely unfulfilling job in a field you don't care much for? That's what he did.
I'll give you a little bit more background. I was a machine operator, a machinist for 10 years. I spent a lot of effort getting to where I was. I was the head operator at the machining company, and I made good money, and actually very good money for where we lived, more money than I really needed. And that was kind of the kicker. It wasn't worth the money. I spent all day in a shop that literally had one window that we would like get around and look out the window whenever we got a chance, full of steel dust, and it was just, I did it because of the money, and I realized that now that I'm not, and I quit the job to go on the trail, and now that I'm not there, I don't know what I was doing there. If you're not happy with the job, I say, especially if it's to do a through hike, do the through hike, and if you really want, if you really think it's necessary, go back and try to get the job back. But I would say that if you're even asking yourself that question, then it's probably not the job for you, and there's probably something better out there. And I haven't regretted a day.
Okay.
Regretted a day.
Tent or shelter? Both. Take a tent and stay in shelters when you want to, when it's going to rain, when there's no one else around, or when there are people around. You can't reliably...
I'm not sure if I would do that to a whale. Yeah. That's funny.
You can't reliably sleep in shelters every night.
Right.
There's some sections where they're just too far apart. They're 30 miles apart. There's going to be times when they're full. Even for us, there were times when the shelters were full, and we left in February.
And there's a shelter video you can check out I just did as well. For us, I think tent was where we were more comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
We loved being in our tent. Shelters are for when it was rainy and just more convenient to keep things dry, get an early start, that kind of thing. For us, tent by far, because of that home. You can't get a homey feeling at a shelter. A lot of times you're with strangers, and it's different every time. With a tent, it's the same thing. You get to put everything where it goes. You get that homey feeling, and I think that was very important for me.
Mm-hmm. And plus, we were doing it together, so it was our home. Maybe if we were doing it by ourselves, we would have preferred to stay in the shelter instead with other people.
This is true.
But
since we were together,
yeah. I had to bribe my wife a vacation to Cuba for a month to make this happen. You mess up the AAA. You put he. That was our Canadian friend saying he's going to do a September 2017 Sobo start with a flip-flop in May 2019. Oh, September 2018. Yo-yo. Sorry. Yeah.
Not a flip-flop. Yo-yo back.
Oh, a yo-yo.
Wow. You're...
A yo-yo? You're cray. You are totes cray. But that's great.
It would be great. But that
God, I read that completely wrong.
You did. You're stupid. I'm just kidding.
Larry 3043 was a tool maker. My dad was a tool maker.
Tool and die maker, yeah. I was actually industrial machining. We made like crankshafts for locomotives. Some of our engine lathes were like 40 feet long. We had a vertical boring mill that the table was 60 inches around, so it's like 6 feet or a little less.
ATC registration. Your thoughts on any changes? I guess last year they started a thing where it was voluntary, where you could sign up for a start date.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this year if it's different. We didn't do that because we started early, and there were I think a total of 4 hikers who started on our date. At least we met 2 other hikers.
I don't know about this year.
Yeah, are there changes this year?
I don't know.
I'm not asking you.
Oh. They don't know. That's why they asked us.
Avery says he wants some taffy. It can't come through the TV
Is
screen.
that taffy?
I guess. It's a computer screen. That wasn't nice.
Did it work?
What do you watch on TV in the morning?
You watch... I can't think of anything funny. I really wanted to think of something funny.
Why did Billy take a ruler to bed with him?
You didn't even...
He wanted to measure how long he slept. I don't know. What do you watch on TV in the morning?
Breakfast television. A waffle TV.
Cereal. Breakfast cereal.
Breakfast cereal.
Okay. A Pulley is 50. You're 50 and retired. Tell us how you did that.
Oh, nice.
Did you have to get permits? I heard there's one section you need it for now. The Smokies.
Yes.
It's the only place you need permits. We covered that a little bit earlier. The Shenandoahs, they want you to fill out a form and sign and like carry with you, but it's not technically a permit. You don't have to pay for it. And Baxter, you have to sign in.
Just destroyed this. I don't even know if I can read it.
I believe Baxter is going to require registration, but I'm not positive. That would make sense because of how it is. And that wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, you still, if you're going to sleep there, well, even I think when we walked into Baxter, we had to sign a thing saying where we were going for the night.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we were going to walk out, we probably would have signed it. But a more formal registration process wouldn't be bad. It's to protect the land. I mean, I think that even Scott Jurek, you know, like doing the champagne bottle on top of Katahdin, you can't do that if you want the AT to be around in 50 years for your grandchildren to hike. So
Absolutely.
Registration, sure. Later, A. Have a great beer before you go to bed, A.
Maybe need another one.
He doesn't need another one. I hope when Baby Viking rise, you will continue posting videos. Maybe day hikes with Junior on your back to encourage young parents to get out there with their children.
I've got a lot of fun ideas. I love doing the videos, and I love the interaction with you guys. This is what it makes it so much fun. I don't want to stop doing YouTube videos. People like them. I like making them. So, no, I want to continue. I didn't read that one.
Okay.
I want to continue doing videos. Absolutely. And maybe I'll do a series on how to hike with a baby. Because I don't know. So as I learn it, I can show you.
And if anyone has any recommendations on a good child carrier, like a hiking style child carrier, we're thinking the Osprey Poco Plus. But if anyone has experience with that or another, again, like serious hiker child carrier, let us know. All right. Why is the baker so mean?
Because he's doughy.
Because he beats the bread.
Because people poke him in the stomach.
What is the fish's favorite country?
Sweden.
Finland.
Swedish fish. That's a bad one.
I read yesterday that Baxter is considering limiting the numbers of summits each day. Again, I mean,
I don't think that's a bad idea.
It would help preserve the land, but it would be kind of hard for thru hikers, especially nobos. I would say that when the day we summited, we were the first ones on top of Katahdin.
We beat Scott Jurek by hours, but we summited the same day as Scott Jurek, but we beat him. We were there before him.
But, I mean, even coming down, we didn't come down the AT, we went down a different trail. And there were a lot of people heading up Katahdin.
Well, that's true, because they're talking about summits per day.
Hikers, yeah.
Are they limiting through hikers or just regular people? Because there was 50 people up there, and they weren't all through hikers.
None of them
were, yeah.
Retired by not becoming a slave to debt, kept the same husband for 30 years, and lived within my means. That's how you retire early. Maybe we can retire early.
We will retire early. We don't spend money, period.
Charlie. 30 years in the machine shop, hated every day. The only thing that was good was he retired at 48. So you should have just kept your job and not done the 18.
And I was on a good pace to do that. I bought a house at 22, and yeah, I was on pace for that same thing. But I'm still happy that I'm not in that machine shop anymore.
Ever consider eating bugs? It gives high protein and fills your needs. My dad and I did crickets today. I can't believe that you would say no, because you eat lots of weird things. But
I've never considered it as like a source of protein on the trail or anything. I would eat bugs. Just if someone said, I dare to eat that bug, I'd probably try it.
He's gross.
But I wouldn't consider it as like
and Avery, you
diet.
should be eating crickets. Don't let your dad talk you into that.
Knowing his dad, yeah, I can see him doing it too.
Check out the blog entry on Hyper Light Mountain Gear's site for more info on the Baxter regulations.
Cool.
Thru hikers make up a small percentage, so basically, yeah, it's a section of day hikers. Would you rather summit during the week or weekend? Now, we were told by Gator, who summited on a Saturday, to try to not summit on a weekend.
Yes.
However,
go ahead.
we summited on a Sunday because the Monday was supposed to be storming, so we kind of accelerated our schedule one day.
But we got up and we're on the trail very early.
I think we were on the trail by 5 o'clock.
Yeah. So, and that helped
Maybe
us.
5:30.
When we got to the sign, we were the first ones there.
Yeah.
And we got the sign to ourselves for quite a little while before a couple other thru hikers came up, and then we had the day hikers were starting to come up as we went down.
Yeah, so I think that it kind of depends as well. I mean, like, so we were July 12th. If we had been the week before, we wouldn't have wanted to summit on July 4th, which I guess that was a Sunday or Saturday anyway. But and if the weather's crappy, there's going to be less day hikers. But you don't want a crappy day for your summit day.
Yeah, you're hiking that long, you don't want a crappy day.
I would say probably like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or like Tuesday, Wednesday would be better.
Okay.
Would probably be ideal.
This question's kind of fun. Do you think thru hikers would get priority if they restricted Katahdin summits?
Probably not. I mean, they'd probably have like let's say that they were going to say 100 people can summit a day. Maybe 70 of them, like they'd say up to 70 could be thru hikers. I don't even think that many. I don't think they'd give. And
this is just my opinion. If you think about it from, you have to think about it from Baxter State Park's point of view.
They don't like.
They're not there for thru hikers. The AT is a great thing. It's a great trail. But Baxter State Park is a state park, and they cater to the people that are there. That they pay them to stay in the park. So if they're thinking paying customers as opposed to these. And I'm being very mean about it, but the dirty thru hikers that have been on the trail, it's something that all thru hikers go through. Is you feel that that you deserve a little bit of special treatment, but
especially
the Nobos, because by the time you get there, you have hiked thousands of miles, and now. I think that everybody just needs to try to make it fair, I guess. And it's like I said, when we got into Maine, we had that feeling that we deserved something because of how hard it was. And we told ourselves that we didn't want to be that way. But I think when it comes to, restricting I think the people that are staying in Baxter State Park have just as much of a reason to be on top of Katahdin. And if we don't start respecting that, there was talk this year of the AT will not finish at Katahdin anymore. Baxter State Park will just take the AT out of the park. So if it comes down to that, then, I think everybody needs to be a little bit weary of what they're doing, popping champagne and stuff. I mean, it's that kind of impact that we're having. I mean, that's what's getting these questions brought up. It's because of the things that mainly the thru hikers have been doing. It's not the day hikers that are popping champagne up there. So, and it's that worries people about them actually shutting down and rerouting the end of the AT.
The day hikers might not be following so much of the other leave no trace principles, but they don't have anything to celebrate, so they're not taking champagne up there. Okay. Are you still planning to post the Katahdin Summit video?
Yes.
When we get there. I mean, we've already been there. But I mean...
Maybe. But yes, absolutely. And those, like I said earlier in the live stream, I will try to do the next video after this one. I will do another Katahdin video, or not Katahdin, but another to Katahdin video to try to get those ones out. I know that it's been a while since I've put one out, and I've had some other videos go up. So, and overall, I would like to try to keep up with about a video a week. With the new baby coming, it's going to be a little bit harder, but because I've been doing a video every 3 or 4 days or so, unless I was hiking. But I would like to do about once a week and see if I can keep up that schedule because you guys seem to like them and I like making them. So next up will be to Katahdin and we'll get that series finished.
Should we do this next question or should we do the final drawing?
All right, we're going to do the final drawing first. And then we're going to try to finish up the questions. Normally we run for about 2 hours. We got 6 minutes or so. So the final drawing. Ooh, it's my turn. Okay, while she shakes them, we had Jan Jonkas, Dan Edwards, Avery's Review, Tom and Company 29, and Norm Lacey is our winners. And for the 6th and final pouch, we have this one. Catherine Wilkins, you are number 6, and you are the last winner of the cooking pouches. That was actually a lot of fun. I was surprised you don't have to clean them up yet. I'll clean them. I was surprised the feedback we got on that. Maybe we could do that more often. That would be really cool to be able to do that. So those are our 6 winners, and we'll get in contact with them and get those shipped out. Sorry for you guys that didn't win. Well, you can make your own. I showed you how to do it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's too much? Do you think that there's too much emphasis on on touching every blaze? It should be about the experience in hiking the trail. Now, we were purists, but that was because that was the experience we were going for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we didn't physically touch every blaze.
No. And we knew people who weren't purists and skipped sections. We knew people who were purists. I think it really just depends on what, like you said, it's about the experience. What do you want?
Hike your own hike.
Yeah. So if you... well, here, you say, for example, if the trail is in bad shape in a section, they should bypass it temporarily. Yeah. And a lot of times, I mean, like, say a tree had just blown down, we would go around that. But if they actually had rerouted the trail, I mean, that was the trail for 2015, was the rerouted portion, so that's where we went.
Mm-hmm. And I think it really comes down to, I don't know whoever was the first one to say hike your own hike, but it is exactly that. Everybody's going to be out there for a different reason. For us, we were out there specifically to hike every step of the Appalachian Trail. It's been something that I've wanted to do for so many years that it's just like I wanted to walk every step. I know it's a different trail than the trail that I was dreaming about 15 years ago, but that's what I was out there for, and that's why, that was what, when we had finished, that was what gave me that satisfaction. Now, we also met a number of people, like Selfie was a man from France that we met, and he would skip sections, he would get right. He was just out there doing his own thing, and that's completely fine. And I think there's a little bit of judgment that goes on there that, that people think, well, that's not real or not whatever. But it's hike your own hike.
Now, in order to get your 2,000-miler patch, you do have to verify that you did hike all 2,189.2 miles, or whatever the total trail is for your year. But... I mean, so I guess technically if you yellow blaze a 100-mile section, you shouldn't do that. If you skip a 1-mile section because of trail conditions, it's flooded, it's up to you if you still consider yourself a thru hiker. And I think that, I mean, if the trail is flooded and if that's the trail conditions that year, that's the trail conditions that year. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I like this. Living 2 hours north and seeing Katahdin frequently, I see it as a special place and won't climb it until I do the AT start to end. That is awesome.
We didn't step foot on the Appalachian Trail until
I avoided
until the approach trail.
I've been wanting to do the AT for so long. I had the same kind of idea. I never stepped foot. I avoided the Appalachian Trail. The first step was, for us, the approach trail.
And if you do a no-bow,
you do the approach trail. It is beautiful. You won't regret it.
I was just gonna say, if he who lives 2 hours north and sees Katahdin like a lot, if he does a no-bow, like,
you're hiking home
and seeing Katahdin like while you're on the trail is gonna be amazing. Because it was amazing for us, and we had never seen it before. That would be awesome.
Pooh, now I'll have to make my own.
Sorry, Shannon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Boo.
Okay,
Sorry. I know. I wish we could have given away more, but
I know
we didn't have that. We made as many as we could with the material we had.
Mm-hmm.
1-inch wide bottom of my pouch so it will sit up. That's a good idea.
And I actually thought about that too, so it's my idea. No. But I did actually think about that.
That's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm. And it would just be in the way that you folded it a little bit differently. You could definitely do that. Like I said during that video, you can do it any shape you wanted. And if you made it 1 inch wide, it would definitely... I will say that sometimes and this wouldn't affect it if it was just 1 inch wide and was standing, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I would like bring it into the sleeping bag with me and like cuddle up with it to keep me warm. So I don't make it any bigger than 1 inch wide because it'd be like weird. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm delirious. I'm tired. It's a flappy tappy. Sorry.
Go down.
I'm reading.
I already read these ones.
Where's the little clicker button?
I don't know.
More comments below. Oh, that's not what we wanted.
No, that is good.
Oh, good.
Thanks. Always look forward. Your video on how to make the cooking bags was so good that my girlfriend just made 2 while watching the Q&A. That's great.
Nice. Awesome.
I've been planning since 2003. Will you send a piece of Laffy Taffy in the pouch? No. It's ours.
I will.
No, that's...
I will.
Yeah.
What kind do you want?
We have banana, cherry, strawberry, grape, and sour apple. I hear that oh, okay. I see. Make a gusset at the bottom of mine so it will stand up. Perfect. I used a thermal reusable grocery bag for my pouch, then stuffed the reflectus in the pouch.
Absolutely.
Scott Jurick's planning and poor behavior on the summit was really never the true spirit of what hiking is about. Cherry. Avery wants cherry.
All right, we can do that. And you know something? Scott Jurick,
I hope we still have cherry, because that was in like the smaller packs.
Well, oh.
I think
we still have some from the small bag. But Scott Jurick did an amazing thing. Absolutely amazing thing what he did. And I understand the sponsors, and I understand the publicity behind it. And all of that is great. But what really people need to understand is that Katahdin's, like, the ecosystem up there, it is such a different thing. It's so special that you can do that and then go to Millinocket, it's the next town, and then celebrate there. There's a bar there. There's you can do whatever you want. Just don't do it on top of Katahdin. That's just the main thing.
For our celebration in town, we walked to the grocery store and bought ingredients for subs.
Yeah, we ate sandwiches, like with fresh ingredients. It was good.
I think I got a bag of Cheetos too.
Now, and also, I know we broke the rules a little bit. On top of Katahdin, well, I won't say it. I won't say it because you guys will see it in the video. Never mind.
Okay.
You have to wait.
Is there a link to Scott's thing? I am unfamiliar. You can probably just search like Scott Jurick Katahdin and get all the information on it. Or, I mean, even just his name and get all the information on his entire hike.
Yeah, if you just type in Scott Jurick, you're going to hear a lot. He broke the speed record, and then there was a lot of hype over when he got on top of Katahdin to celebrate. They popped a bottle of champagne, and it sprayed champagne all over the delicate
and he had,
ecosystem.
Like, too many people up there, too. There's a limit. His last name is Jurek.
Yeah, they wanted to actually have a helicopter up there to film it, if I remember right, and they denied him the helicopter. And there wasn't supposed to be any filming crew within 500 feet of the summit.
Or a certain feet.
And they were, I guess, all over it, and he got fined and stuff, so.
Have that baby on March 29th. That's my B-day. Good night. Well, March 28th is my birthday, so I told the baby that he or she could come on or before March 28th. If it's not going to share my birthday, I might as well come earlier because we want to meet this little bugger.
Yeah. So, hey, and right now it is 10:03. We have caught up on our questions. This has been an awesome Q&A, and we're going to continue to try to do these once a month. Hopefully, maybe in the next Q&A, we may have a baby.
Well, that's the thing. We probably won't do it before, because I'm going to give birth in the next 4 weeks no matter what. So
even if they have to saw it out of there.
So the next Q&A might be a little bit delayed.
Which is, they understand.
But it might also feature a junior hiker.
Did you guys do Knife's Edge? All right, last question. No, we did not do Knife's Edge.
We thought about it. We considered it at one point. Nathan was all for it. My thing was, let's just get down the fastest way possible because, I mean, if I could have gotten a helicopter to pick me up from the summit, perfect. I was done hiking at that point. Mm-hmm. We didn't do Knife's Edge. We did a different one. We did an easier descent. We were really ready to be done. Had the name of Flower or Garden or something in it, but it wasn't Katahdin Springs. I'm not sure. I don't know. The one thing I will say, we really wanted to be done at that point in time. So just getting down, Knife's Edge did look, and the day that we were there, it was really windy, so they were saying take precaution on Knife's Edge. And at that point in time, it was like, you know something, we just hiked 2,200 miles. We're done. And it was a really windy day, and Knife's Edge is a Knife's Edge. And then the other part that was that made me say okay was I love to leave things. That just gives me another reason to go back. So by leaving Knife's Edge there, it was like, yeah, I could go back and do Knife's Edge. So yeah, and it'd be better, I think, because we took our full packs up with us. So if we would have only taken like a day pack up with us, maybe, but I was already kind of over the steep, rocky descents.
Mm-hmm.
And doing that at the very end of my hike when I was completely exhausted with a full thru-hiker pack probably wouldn't have been the safest thing.
The best idea. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, this has been great. And we will see you later on down the trail.
And remember, keep it between the blazes.
Bye-bye.